Hello, one and all, and welcome to the first episode of the Pools Pod. I'm Jack, the host, the brainchild, if you like, and hopefully this will provide some entertainment for Pools fans throughout this season and hopefully beyond as well. Joining me today, we've got Adam and Isaac, long-time Pools fans. Isaac, having been supporting Pools and going to Pools for the last 10 years. And Adam, the co-host, former co-host of the podcast HUFC Chat. Hello, gentlemen. How are we all doing today?
Oh, not too
Good.
bad, Jack. Not too bad at all, thank you.
Excellent. And just to kick off, we're in the middle of November, which is a great time to start a podcast when you're doing it on football season. So we've got plenty of things to catch up on. The first one being the new manager, which seems to happen every season at Hartlepool United. Darren Sarll came in. He replaced outgoing Kevin Phillips, who had only been with us for a matter of months. Gentlemen, what would your thoughts be in terms of the manner that Kevin Phillips was replaced, and was Darren Sarll? I know we've got the advantage of hindsight now, but was he the right man to take us forward at the time? Did you think?
I was shocked. I'll be brutally honest. When it came through that he was not staying, and then immediately after the club announced, obviously Darren Sarll. I mean, I genuinely thought throughout that short tenure of Kevin Phillips, I don't think anyone really would have done a better job. I mean, I know we had the very traumatic experience of Gateshead away, the 7-1 defeat, which was it was appalling, really, the whole manner of it. But for me, that shouldn't have defined his tenure, his job. We all got to Dorking of the hope that it was just going to be what it was, get it over and done with, and allow Kevin Phillips to go into that summer, have his stamp on the team, hopefully do well in the transfer market and see what was going to be this season. But the club, in their wisdom, thought that wasn't the route. They decided that the answer was Darren Sarll, and I genuinely looked at their appointment and I thought, okay, I can get behind this. He hasn't had promotion success, but he obviously had success in getting the likes of Yeovil and walking into the playoffs. So I thought when I looked at the pool squad, the players that he had at his disposal, I thought it was a good recipe for success, and I was looking forward to the season ahead. But it just didn't pan out that way, and we very soon realised that it wasn't going to last long, and we got to October time, and we just knew we knew, like many managers before him, that it was just going to be a matter of when, not if. So not the season that we've expected so far, but hopefully, there's still a long way to go this season. A lot to hopefully win in terms of points, so hopefully we can have a good season.
And Isaac, would you echo that? What Adam said there?
Yeah, when the news came out about Phillips, I was stunned really because apart from the Gateshead game, I think we only had one. Well, there wasn't any bad games in my opinion, and I would have liked to see him bringing in his own players. Similar to Graham Lee, it would have been in hindsight the right decision to keep him, but just when it's another day of pools, as I said, and think it was 15, 10 to 20 minutes after we announced the Phillips departure that we announced Sal coming in. And I think I think Adam, I told you I was really excited for him because he just spoke so well in pre-season and right at the start of the season. When as time gone on, like his character revealed to be himself. So just disappointing, really.
And moving on slightly, we're still in the summer. We're looking at the signings where Hartlepool United do seem to bring in quite a lot of players every summer, according to whoever the manager is at the time. Couple of those to reel off. The goalkeeping situation changed a lot in the summer. We had Joel Dixon at the time, who, in fairness to him, even though he'd had a shaky year or so with the club, it seemed okay at the start of the season, but then unfortunately suffered that long-term injury. And we now have Brad Young and Adam Smith coming in. Isaac, I'll start with you this time. Was there any inclination towards who you prefer as your number one between, and we'll include Joel Dixon because he will be back. I think it's after Christmas, realistically. So is there an inclination as to who you want to be number one?
it's a really, really difficult question because I think all three have shown why they belong in the first team and why they don't. And I think Young has shown why he has the potential to go on into the future and be a quality keeper. But at the moment, and given recent performances, I just think we need to have Joel Dixon back as soon as possible. I think that York game, Young really, really struggled and showed why he probably isn't up to standard yet. And it seems harsh, but he really struggled that game. And I I thought when Dixon, before he got injured, I was really impressed by him, really impressed. So I think we need to give him a chance because from or when before he got injured, he really impressed me. So it'll be nice to see him come back into the side when he does.
Would you agree, Adam?
It is tough, really tough. I mean, this department's been a problem for a couple of years now. Killip left, and it's just been turmoil after turmoil. For me, it's bizarre because as long as I've been going to pools, this is one kind of area where we've always seemingly excelled. We've always looked back and had really good goalkeepers, whether they were permanent signings, whether they were loans. So I mean, look, Brad's young. He's 22. I mean, he's younger than me. Do you know what I mean? So he's still learning his trade. He's still going on. I mean, I echo your sentiments. I thought Joel, I mean, given that he was transfer listed, it seemingly looked like his future was pointing everywhere but Hartlepool. He looked really good in pre-season, had a good start of the campaign, and it was really disappointing to see him get injured that home game, which has obviously kept him out for 3 or 4 months. So, yeah, I'd like to see Joel come back in. At the moment, I don't think we've got much choice. I mean, it's Brad or nothing at the moment. So,
It was
yeah,
amazing
I
that
mean,
Joel. It was amazing because, as you say, he was transfer listed. It looked as though he was gone virtually, and then he still seemed to start every friendly, and there was never really any other option going into the season because he was the one with the most experience, if you like, match experience, and he just seemed to transition into the season as the number one.
it's just been there's just been so much instability rather. Obviously we started with Dixon, then it was Smith, we were toying, and then obviously the injury to Dixon obviously meant it was Smith, and then obviously we brought in Young. So yeah, we do need to somehow cement our position. I mean, it will be interesting to see what happens when Dixon does return from injury. I mean, look, based on the way he started the season, I'd have no complaints if Dixon came straight back into it. By all means, I mean, given he was transferless, it would have been quite easy from his point of view to, you know, to maybe appear defeated. But he's come back. He's fought tooth and nail clearly, and fair play to him. Fair play to him indeed.
And going through some of the others, I mean, any of the ones you can think of, is there anyone in particular that you think has had, despite the difficult season that we've had as a club, is there anyone in particular you think has stood out amongst the new signings, whether that be the summer, whether that be people who've come in during the season?
Yes, one immediately comes to my mind, and he's called Nathan Sheron
I was
for the
hoping
Red
you'd say
Hawks.
that because, quite frankly, I think he's been probably possibly our best player. Quite
This
frankly,
he is so good. He is everywhere, and he's impressed me more so because this season, not many times, we saw it again on Saturday where we've lost Dodsey. He's slotted in at right back. He hasn't looked uncomfortable. He's looked as good. He's looked as effective. He's everywhere. He's aggressive. He's that midfielder I think we've just been crying out for years. He is just such a pleasure to watch. I
I think he's
mean,
played every
him.
minute, hasn't he? He started every game, I think,
You're asking me a question. I
possibly.
can't say for
I
sure. I
w-
mean, I
I was
wouldn't
going
be
to say,
surprised if he has.
I think I read something. I think it was an X tweet, Twitter tweet for those who are a bit old fashioned. But I'm pretty sure someone has mentioned that if he's not played every minute, I think he started every game. And quite frankly, I can't remember a game he hasn't played in this season.
Well, according to Wikipedia, well, we've played 18 games as per Google. I've got the table up here, and according to Wikipedia, he's got 19 appearances, 1 goal in the league, and
He's
rightly so. Like I
been
say, he
excellent.
has been. He's been a breath of fresh air. My player of the season so far.
Anything from your end, Isaac? I mean, it doesn't have to be the player of the season, but is there anyone particular that stood out for you?
Sharon, just as you two have said, he's been unbelievable. I think he's a midfielder we needed for a long, long time. You know, he's physical, he's tough into tackles. He's been excellent so far. Nathan Asimi, before he went back to Charlton, I was really impressed by him. Um, Despite his young age, he looked like he was kicking on, and I thought he would have been a really big part for us until January, February.
It's a shame,
So
really, because he came in and people were slightly confused about where he wanted to, well, not where he wanted to play, but where the manager would want to play him, because we had a lot of things from Charlton fans saying he was a full back, he was a left back, he was a right back, he was a winger, he was pretty much everything, but no one really knew where he was coming in. And it seemed to me that once he bedded in and towards the end of his spell, he seemed to really gel with the rest of the team. He was putting in good performances.
yeah, definitely, yeah. I think we started him a left back under Sal for a bit. Then when Lenny obviously came and he was playing right mid, and I thought he was really good on the right hand side. You know, linking up with Dogsy really well.
And I mean, to be fair, I can't argue with Nathan Sharon. Nathan Sharon was the one that instantly came to mind. He's top of my list that I've jotted down there. Potentially a couple of others to talk about. Billy Sass Davis is potentially one. I know the defence at times haven't covered themselves in glory, but I thought he's slotted in quite well. Adam Campbell's an interesting one because he came from two divisions up. I mean, he played in League Two last season, but Crawley were a League One side. And the fanfare around his in particular it felt like a game-changing signing at the time, and he just doesn't seem to have bedded in as much as we might have liked.
No, and I'm not even going to lay that blame at his face. You know, more so under Sal, really. When you looked at the whole idea of what he was trying to do, the way we played for the best part of the Sal reign, you know, the ball was up here. You know, there was games where he was just completely just omitted. You know, he could not have an impact. It's only really more recently under Lenny Lawrence where you've seen more ball on the floor, actually playing football where he's able to get on the ball and try and have an impact. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those really. You can't have players like that in your team and then play the way Sal played and then still want to have an impact. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully now it's the fact that he's come from League One. Do you know what I mean? It was a fantastic signing. I was dead excited by it. I thought at this level he's going to be far too good. And
He was excellent for Gateshead the last time he was in non-league.
yeah, and I remember him saying, I watched the interview in pre-season where he said, you know, obviously I'd listened to the Sal interview. He'd obviously put across his ideas and, you know, Campbell shared them sentiments. He went, the last time I played at Gateshead, it was this kind of football. I excelled. I scored X and Y amount of goals. I got X and Y amount of assists. Unfortunately, it just didn't materialise for him. So I'm hoping now under Lenny, we get to see the real Adam Campbell. But just before we do quickly move on, a big honorary mention to Tom Parks. I think he's been a colossus at the back, equally as good as Nathan Sharon, and probably one of the best players of the season so far, in my opinion.
That's a fair point. I mean, Tom Parks has been excellent. As I said before, when I was talking about Billy Sos Davis, the defence as a whole have had their moments where, particularly at the start of the season, where it just looked as though we would not concede a goal. If you discount the walking game, which, quite frankly, we should never play on a bank holiday Monday ever again, given what's happened the last two seasons. But in terms of the defence at the start of the season, it wasn't our problem, the defence. They were virtually conceding 0.02 goals or something like that over the course of, say, the first 7 or 8 games. And then, unfortunately, it just seemed to fall apart for some reason. It's slightly strange.
Very, very. The problems, like you say, were in the final third. You know, we were keeping them out at one end, but we seemingly weren't clicking, weren't firing at the other ones. And the walking game, like you say, bank holiday Mondays and Hartlepool United should just it doesn't go together. They should be banned, should be stopped. Um, and even now, you've seen games more recently, like Saturday, where you know Eastleigh. Oh wait, we were down to 10 men. Sorry. Um, I mean they were shocking, but again, you look at the players that we've got. You know the dominance that we had in that game, and again, we just couldn't get over the line. I mean the whole issue with Hartlepool United and scoring goals in games this season, it's mind blowing when you look at the huge and massive quality that we do possess. You know, so I'm hoping it sorts itself out. I really do.
To be fair, speaking of Bank Holiday Mondays, the main reason why we fell apart last season, um, I mean, there are a couple of factors, but Anthony Mancini going off very early on at that game at Chesterfield, very much did sort of derail our season quite a lot. And he's not really featured as much this season as a lot of fans might like. Isaac, I'll come to you. Is there a place for him in the side if everyone's fit in terms of the first 11? Is he? It seems strange to say, given the impact he had last season, but is he first choice now?
Looking at the players we are like using and the formation we are using, it's really difficult to see him back into the side because if we keep on using this 4-2-3-1 that Lenny like seemed to use since he came here, um, I don't know where he features. I think last season we tried him on the wing for a couple of games when Lenny was caretaker, and I don't think he suited it as well as we hoped. And it's just where Campbell and Mancini debate. We two really good players can't in the same team, which is unfortunate. We in an ideal world, it would be nice to see them both play together, but it just seems like it's one or the other at the moment. He's a quality player, so hopefully we do see him back on the side. But at the moment, I just don't see where he gets into the side.
It's amazing how many times where managers don't know how to play certain players, they just get shoved out onto the wing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. And we tried that last season, but he just couldn't play there. He's like the position where he should be is a 10. Like
It
it
just
was
it
unbelievable.
Yeah, it just seemed like in our promotion season when Dave Chalmers played three at the back, he played the wing backs and he had two up front. Obviously, we didn't need wingers there because we had the wing backs, but then every manager since has either tried to persist with that formation when it doesn't work, or they're trying to play players out of position as a winger, and it just hasn't worked. It's not worked. I mean, some of the best performances in our history in terms of individual performances, and certainly while I've been gone, 'cause I can't speak for long years gone by. Um, but you think of the likes of I'm going to say Nathan Thomas at Morecambe. If I say Nathan Thomas at Morecambe, you know what I'm referring to, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly, 5-2. He was applauded off by all sides of the stadium. I mean, not that there's four sides to the stadium at Morecambe, but or there wasn't at that stage anyway. But it was one of the best individual performances playing off that left-hand side. He was absolutely outstanding. And we haven't had many wingers, out and out wingers, that can play to that level because we keep shoving people in there that don't play there.
More than you. I would argue more than you. But
Luke
that's
Molyneux was a good shout. Yeah, he's probably the last one, isn't he?
yeah, definitely. You know, we've had people like Jake Hasty on the wing in the past few years, so
Yeah,
just
that's a dark memory that we shall keep long. That being said, he did score that goal at York last season. That was a superb goal, lads. He's even the worst strikers at any club will provide certain memories, especially away from home, that you just won't forget, I suppose. But even so, it was something that just never really worked out. Moving on to the game on Saturday, we mentioned it briefly with regards to the red cards, performances, etc. Now, I didn't see the red card because I wasn't up in the stand at that point. Was it a red?
yeah,
It
yeah.
was. Adam?
So I haven't watched it back. Um, I thought live. I was hoping more so that given how early we were into the game, I thought,
15
will you get a
minutes.
little bit of leniency? But again, when you go on in like the way he did in that manner, you're running the risk. You're giving the referee an option. I genuinely thought the longer it went on, because it wasn't like a quick decision. The referee was obviously having to deal with a couple of off-field scuffles and I think a few complaints from the Eastleigh players. But I can have no complaints, and I don't think Dodgy did either. Do you know what I mean? I think he more or less accepted it and off he trotted. So it's a shame. Do you know what I mean? I think with 11 men, I'd like to think we would have got over the line at some point, but that might just be me making excuses at this stage.
Yeah, Isaac, you sounded quite certain when you said yes, it was a red card. Was that the viewpoint that you had from where you're in the stadium?
After the game, I was speaking to people who sat in the Cyril Knoll stand, and I just said it was definitely a like, red from their angle. You know, I sit in the northwest corner, so from my angle, I didn't see it that well. But then after the game, I spoke to people, and they said it was definite red.
It seemed, oh, hello. It seemed quite split on Twitter, but then, if it's a Pulse fan speaking and he's adamant it's never a red, is it potentially one of those things, a bias, perhaps? But I mean, the consensus seems to be that it was a red, and discipline this season, particularly at the start of the season, it's been okay in the weeks since. It's reared its head again slightly, but you've already mentioned there, Adam and Isaac, you may well agree. If we had 11 men for 90 minutes, we'd have won that game.
Absolutely, yeah. I felt way with the worst side I think I've seen this season. Even with even with the player advantage, they just didn't look like they wanted to attack us at all. They just let us have the ball and let us control most of the game. So
At the risk of upsetting any Eastleigh fans who may stumble on this podcast, I said leaving that stadium that's possibly one of the worst away performances I've ever seen at,
yeah,
at our ground anyway, because it was just, there was nothing. Against 10 men, there was absolutely nothing. We looked more likely to score, other than one chance. I think Brad Young blocked a shot at the back post in the first half at the town end. Other than that, I genuinely can't remember a shot on goal that they had, a golden chance, if you like.
yeah.
I mean, I knew Eastleigh were in bad form coming into that fixture, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I really didn't. And I thought once we went down to 10 men, I thought, right, they might impose themselves on the game, push themselves a bit higher up and have a real good go at it. But I think, like you both said, I think that's one of the worst teams I've seen this season. And that's in no disrespect at all to Eastleigh, because obviously we haven't been exactly fantastic at all
Very
ourselves.
true.
But no, look, I thought towards the later stages, I thought we might have got Mancini on and went for it, because it was one of those games where I generally thought, even with 10 men, we didn't crumble. And I thought, even with 10, we looked the better team. Thought we won at the end. I'm not sure if it was Loa, if somebody else. It was a great save from their keeper.
I think it
But
was Luke Charman.
it might have been. I'm not quite sure. I don't recall fully. But no, frustrating result in the on the face of it. Really frustrating. I mean, I understand people after the game saying, "Look, we're down to 10 minutes, a point to point," but it does feel more like 2 points dropped than a point gained, in my opinion.
And I suppose if you look at the contrast from last week at York, 5 goals conceded. They are towards the top of the league. You can't deny they've got a very good squad, etc., etc. But conceding 5 goals last week, a clean sheet today, when you're down to 10 men, can only be something that boosts the confidence of the players.
Definitely, yeah. I felt just the fact we were the better side as well, just it will do the confidence a world of good. And I saw people after the game complain about Lenny's comments, and I think he said something about on the lines of "it feels like a win." Well, I echo that because 10 men against we've got easily have some decent players as well, like Maguire, McCallum, who scored 30 odd goals last season. It probably does feel like a win for the players after conceding 5 last week.
And looking ahead to Saturday, you're both going on Saturday to Solihull. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
Yeah, I do love a trip to Solihull, but with me working from home on Saturdays these days is not possible, unfortunately. But we've had an odd record at Solihull. Certainly in the first few years that we played them, where we always won at theirs, and then they always came to ours and won themselves. It's slightly evened itself out these days because we've lost the last couple there, I believe. But I remember, for example, Liam Noble's goal, and they're usually quite low scoring as well. Liam Noble's winner, Aidan Keener, the last away game before lockdown. Is it realistic to expect more than a draw on Saturday, or is there hope that what we've seen in the last game could carry us to a victory there?
Oh, it's the hope that killed you, isn't it? It's the hope that killed you every single game. I mean, like you've said, it's never been an easy place to go. They've always been a notoriously good National League team. They've always competed at the top end, always been playoff worthy. I mean, I thought they might have struggled this year. I know they had a few big departures over the summer, but again, they've proved me wrong. They're up there, albeit it was Ebbsfleet, but they battered Ebbsfleet 6-0 the weekend gone, so they were going into it full of confidence. I mean, it's mind blowing that, just going off record, but it's mind blowing that the only game Ebbsfleet have won is against us. I
Yeah, I
mean, that
believe
is,
as well. I think Solihull went down to 10 men quite early in that game. They were in a similar position to us, and they went and put 6 past them in the second half.
well, there you go. I mean, contrast. But no, I mean, look, it's always possible. I mean, going into it, I'd snap your hand off for a point. I think anything after is a bonus. The only thing that's given me a little bit of hope and confidence is the fact that, some of our better performances have come away from home, for whatever reason. I don't know why. So, yeah, it's possible, but it's going to be a tough outing, tough fixture. Um, so we'll see.
And Isaac, are you going with any expectation?
If anyone can be anyone in this league, so we have to be confident. They'll provide challenges of their own, so we just have to take every game as they come. I don't see why we can't beat them, on paper, but I would say on paper we can beat anyone in this league. So I you have to be confident for these games. So hopefully the players have worked hard this week and go there and aim to win.
And finally, because Zoom has started a countdown saying that unless I upgrade to Pro, we've got 6 minutes left. So we'll have to wrap it up soon. But in terms of the rest of the season, looking beyond Solihull, um, obviously Lenny's now confirmed for the rest of the season. We've got what feels like 20 coach strong management team behind him as well. What do you think personally will happen for the rest of the season? Do you think we'll get in the top seven? Do you think it's simply a matter of stability, if you like, making sure we don't go down? Is there a trophy run, perhaps? We've got Tamworth at home in a couple of weeks' time. Is there something there, perhaps? What do you reckon?
I'm usually the optimist. I'm usually the person with a glass half full, shall we say? But at this present time, I don't see us getting the top seven. Things could change, and I hope to God they do for the better. Still a long way to go. We could recruit in January. We could bring more players in. It could help. But I think based off what I've seen so far, what I've seen in recent weeks, I'm just not all that confident. I think it's just for me. It's all about next season. I think it's all about building those foundations, giving us something to build on for next season, going into next summer. The FA Trophy, I think we've said it every time we're in it. It's always a good opportunity for Pools to go deep into the competition, to challenge. I think we've got the squad. I think we've got the quality there. So yeah, look, it's not going to be an easy game. Tamworth, I was there this season, and it was by far from easy. So hopefully, we go one better than last year. Can't do any worse.
And not go out to Hampton
So
and Richmond. Yep, that sounds about right for us. Yeah, to be fair, we'll beat Tamworth and then we'll go out to like a seventh tier side or something like that. That's what we usually do. I still remember Workington. That was awful. And
no
Telford as
pills.
well. Yeah, exactly. Isaac, League and Cup?
We hopefully playoffs, but like Adam said, I just don't see at the moment, unfortunately. But it would we in the cup it'll be nice to go through as well. But we got Tamworth, and like Adam, I was at Tamworth this season with Adam, and we, we were a decent side to be fair. So they'll provide tests of their own, and they beat Huddersfield as well in the FA Cup.
They did, yeah, that's very true.
If we can get a good cup run, come hopefully top 10, then we go into next season full of confidence.
Very true. I suppose there's a difference between, hoping and expecting. Obviously, the hope is that we can get top seven, we can go in. There's always a team that makes a run, isn't there, in every league late on to get into the playoffs. If we do that, is there a chance potentially? Like considering the league, the teams will probably play York, Barnet. If Forest, I still think Forest Green will win the league myself. But if Forest Green get into the playoffs, etc., is there a realistic chance that we can go all the way? Oh dear, I think Adam's muted himself. I can see him trying to talk and he's muted himself. Try again.
I mean, the amount of times I've been on Zoom recording episodes for podcast, Jack, you'd think I'd know better by now. But no, you've always got a chance. That's the beauty of the game. But I think it'll be tough. I think it'll be extremely tough. The teams up there doing extremely well. York have had a good season so far, recruited well. Barnet have cemented themselves over the last couple of years. Oldham are up there. Gateshead, they'll want to rectify the wrongs of last year. Obviously, it wasn't their fault, but obviously they'll want to try and redeem themselves. Rochdale doing well. So for me, it would just be incredibly tough.
And Isaac, anything to add?
Yeah, correct as well. Looking at the top seven at the moment, some of the sides in there are unbelievable quality. Like York, Forest Green have recruited well. Barnet, Oldham, Rochdale, Gateshead. I think Gateshead recently have just had confirmation that they can go into League Two.
Yes, they have. That's true.
So
Good for
if
them,
we,
to be fair.
yeah, really, really positive news. So touch wood, if we do get playoffs, then it'll be really, really tough to go all the way. Never say never.
Never say never, never say die, I suppose. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I think that went rather well for a first episode. Hopefully, you'll join us back later on in the season. I might get you on the last one, actually, and we'll go over what we've just spoke about in terms of predictions then. But for now, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you, or we will hopefully have you join us next week. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, lads.